Hare Krishna, hope I'm audible.
Hare Krishna, yes Mataji.
Yes, you're audible.
We'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaya Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale श्रीमती भाति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय गोविंदाय नमः श्री कृष्ण हरि बोल गोपाल हरि बोल राधा रमण गोविंद हरि बोल श्री कृष्ण हरि बोल गोपाल हरि बोल राधा रमण गोविंद हरि बोल जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय पंचतत्वा पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल. So welcome you all to the level 2 class, and today we will be continuing with the chapter 7, the second part. Okay. Anybody interested in reciting these slokas?
I can recite other.
Yes, please.
7.18. उदरा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थित स युक्तात्मा मावानुत्तमां गतिम्.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in the knowledge of me, I consider to be the just like by my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect goal. Okay. So the more we are closer to the God, the more we are advanced in our service, the more God will show his benediction upon us. So it is the step which we have to take from our side so that we can get that benediction. Yes, Prabhu, you can volunteer for today.
Hare Krishna. 7.19. बहुनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यन्ते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः.
So after many births and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrender onto me. It's not that in one lifetime one will surrender onto the Lord. It will take on different cycles, By that we can get connected to the Lord. So knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is such a great soul is very, very rare. So the person who can realize both the superior and inferior energy of the Lord are different entities, and say, like, we are all fortunate enough to be attending these classes. You can take our contemporary, many people, who are working with us, around us, in our own household and all. So how many people are listening to this? So why only we are listening to this means, again, it is the past karma effect. So likewise, we have reaped that the benefit of doing service in a past life. That is the reason why now we are able to do the service to Krishna. So I wanted one devotee volunteer to read this.
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
That's it again. Yes. Yes, Prabhu, you can read.
Knowledge of the Absolute. Bhakti devotional service is very rare. So first is that realization of one fully in knowledge. That means knowledge that spiritual life is full of activities which are eternal and blissful, and not just impersonalism or voidism. Material world is a perverted reflection of spiritual activities, understands Lord as the cause of all causes, and thus realizes a universal vision of Vasudeva. Sees all in relation to Lord, and this vision precipitates full surrender to Krishna as highest goal. Realizes the dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization, therefore surrenders. That means in the beginning, it's when trying to give up attachment to materialism, there is some leaning towards impersonalism, and it's advanced. Later, understand that there are activities in spiritual life, devotional service, and thus he becomes attached and surrenders uh, to the
Supreme Personality of the
Lord.
Godhead.
Yeah, to the Godhead.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare
Hare Krishna. Knowing the spiritual life is full of activities which are eternal, blissful, and not impersonal or the voidism. Okay. And the material world is exactly the perverted form of this. And yeah, but once we are in devotion service, we know he's the cause of all everything, and he's the one who uh, take full responsibility, and reaching him is the highest goal. Okay. So realizing the dependence on Lord's Supreme Lord's mercy. So our ultimate goal should be surrendering to him and having a spiritual realization. So initially we may have some difficulty when we are trying to give up this materialism and go towards the service towards the Lord. But once we are advancing, then it becomes easily for us, and we can progress in the further. So it is only a step we have to take from our side to progress further in the bhakti. Rest of the things he will take care. So others who have no knowledge, those who surrender to demigods, and those who are impersonalist. Yeah, definitely. These are people not in Sattva-guna, and they are attached to the material life, and so they will take help or shelter of the respective people. Yeah, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire surrender to demigod because they wanted immediate relief and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. So in the very everyone's heart is a super soul. And as soon as one desire to worship some demigod, so it's again the Lord will say them, ye mera bhakti hai, usko de do jo bhi chahiye and all. So likewise, he will order that particular demigod to give it the benediction. But once we are in a realization, we should not waste time going here and there. Ultimately, we should try to do the sadhana by doing the bhakti. Okay. Yeah, so depending on our state of mind or our desire, we try to take shelter of that particular demigod. And but whatever the results which we come when we worship the demigods are temporary and they are not last longing. Okay. So this particular sloka, this particular slide says yes. Once what do you say, the demigod worshippers, okay, the result is that keep one in the material world, and because every day it keep on changing, the desires are limitless and all. After one desire another will be ready and all. So likewise it will just keep us in this material life only, because their intelligence is stolen by all the desires and fruits are limited and they are temporary. Today one desire, tomorrow another desire, isn't it? Basis of choice of worship depends on different modes. So suppose if you wanted some education, we will take help of Goddess Saraswati. So likewise, depending on our requirement, we try to take the help of different demigods. But we forget that Krishna is the source of everything. It is because we are not educated in the scriptures, we don't have a knowledge about the Vedas, and at least we don't read the Bhagavad Gita and we don't know the Saransh in that. So we try to take the help of that, and whatever our ancestors, forefathers have told, that we try to follow that and we follow accordingly. But once we know that Krishna is the source of everything, he will make a faith study and required by a living entity to worship the demigods. So Krishna bestows benefits through the demigods to the living entities. So likewise, because we are worshipping them, we will be entitled only to stay in this material world, in the earth. Again, we have to come back here in this another form to complete the cycle. We will not get liberated. But Krishna devotee is not like that. It is above that, and it is eternal, and definitely it will relieve us from all the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna, I wanted one devotee volunteer to read this.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Demigod worshippers nature follows Karma Kand section of the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita 8.16, attracted to material enjoyment, seeks quick results. Philosophy believes that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord, Bhagavad Gita 7.23. Accepts demigods as equal to Krishna, there are many gods. A particular demigod is supreme instead of the last line
Krishna,
is not clear.
Krishna.
Krishna. Mentally an attitude. I am the enjoyer, desires superior enjoyment in higher planets. Bhagavad Gita 9.20 and 21. False prestige. Intelligence lost due to lusty desires. Bhagavad Gita 7.20. Action. Performs prescribed duties, worships demigods. Bhagavad Gita 7.20 to 23. Performs sacrifice. And the result is he achieves higher planetary systems and enjoys until his pious results are exhausted, and then returns to the middle of the planetary system.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So that's what people who take help of the demigods, they will come back here, okay? And they'll be just lost here only, and they are under the influence of three modes of material nature. So the result is that again they have to come back here to complete their cycle. Yes. Hare Krishna.
7.24 अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यते मामबुद्धयः परं भावम् अजानन्तो ममाव्ययम् अनुत्तमम्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Okay. So again, based on our intelligence about knowing the Lord, we will progress further in the bhakti. So the different moodas and impersonalists, they go by this rule. But we as a Krishna devotee don't have to worry about all this thing because we are continuous in the sadhana and God is giving us the energy and knowledge to progress further in the bhakti. Yes, Prabhu.
नाहं प्रकाश सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढायं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. Definitely, जो पढ़ना नहीं चाहता उसको तो subject पता नहीं चलता, isn't it? So people who don't want to know about the Lord, Lord will never manifest. Now he is living as a Jivatma in them, but he will never try to manifest to them. So for them, I am covered by a eternal creative potency, like a yoga maya, like how an embryo is protected by an amnion and fire is covered by a smoke. Similarly, the ignorance will cover his intelligence and Lord will never be known to them. Okay. And so that their deluded world knows me not whom I am unborn and infallible. So they will never know about Krishna. Okay. So result of being an impersonate, they do not know the Lord, that is he is unborn and infallible because of lesser intelligence. And because Lord himself don't want to manifest to them, he manifests only to the pure devotee. So example like Pandavas, Bhishma and what do you say, Kunti Maharani and Dhruv Maharaj, Gadendra Moksha, all those things. Yes, yesterday we have uh, just discussed about the Bhagavatam stories. So all those devotees and many more. Okay. Uh, except devotees, the rest of them, they consider him as a normal, if you speak, you're a Krishna devotee. So many people have many other manifestation about him. What do they say? Hare Krishna, your experiences when you say you're a Krishna devotee? Hare Krishna. Any inputs from the audience? Like Duryodhana, he see him only as a Yadava, okay, and maybe he's not very fit enough to, and a foolish person who said, "I don't want to wage a war and all," isn't it? It is depending on one's intelligent, they see the person, they see the Lord like that. So only the pure devotee can know the ultimate potency of the Lord. Okay, Hare Krishna. So knowing Krishna as a source of both the material as well as the spiritual energy. This is the another section. As Arjuna, the supreme personality of the Godhead, I know everything that was happened in the past and all that is happening in the present as well as in the future. But as a living entity, nobody can know unless they have that, uh, what is this, sadhana bhakti, by which they can know me in this present life. So O Sian of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from the desire and the head. Because we are under the influence of material life and material nature, as I told you, as the fire is covered by smoke and an embryo is covered by an amnion, we are covered by this Maya effect, and we will never come to know about the Lord. So to break that, we need to do the sadhana, then he will give us the required knowledge to know about the Lord. Okay. So the person who acted piously in the previous life and in this life and whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated are free from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with a determination. Only those who are free from delusion can engage in his service. And this is one example. You can see all the devotees who are singing the Harinama Sankirtana in the street and happily dancing to the tunes of it. Hare Krishna, I wanted one devotee volunteer to read this.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Knowledge of the absolute text 27. Desire and hatred cause them to be bewildered by dualities. How living entities are covered by Maya. Desiring to enjoy separate from Krishna are put under Maya, delusion. Separation from pure knowledge, thus covered by illusory energy. Effects of manifestation of illusory energy, duality of desire and hate. Symptoms of such delusion: wants to become one with the Lord, original sinful desire of living entity, envies Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, original hatred of living entity. Think Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energy. Manifestations of dualities of delusion are dishonor, honor, good, bad, pleasure, pain, men, women, etc. How can they get free from the coverings of Maya? Recognize Krishna's supremacy. Become a devotee of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So these are all the disease pattern, I can say. We are under a delusion, we are under effect of Maya. And this is how, when a person is under delusion, manifests like that. And how he can become free by the coverings of Maya, by recognizing Supreme Krishna, Lord Krishna's supremacy, by becoming a devotee of Krishna. So for whom it is difficult to transcend the dualities of hatred, desires and hatred, and those who are sinful, aesthetic, foolish and deceitful, impersons lack the following knowledge, forget one's position as a subordinate to that is the greatest violation of the God's law. Because impersonal bhakti will never allow to do the personal bhakti, that is doing the deity worship and all, and you will be illusioned. Okay. So required performance, so qualification required to perform determined devotion service, sinful action are completely eradicated. They are free from dualities of delusion, ceasing to act according to desire and hate, and act as piously in the sun in the previous life. Ultimately, they will be liberated. How to be situated on a spiritual platform? So by practicing the four regulative principle, and next step is to meditate upon the Lord by doing the mantra meditation and association of the pure devotees. So these are the one which will help us to progress further in the bhakti. So the results is that devotees travels the earth to discover the conditioned source from the delusion. There is a mercy, and which will ultimately open the door to the liberation. And yeah, so because the other devotees are doing the sadhana towards the Lord, seeing them we will learn, and we will learn certain from the senior devotees. Likewise, ultimately it will help us to progress further in the bhakti. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
7.29. Jara marana mokshaya mam asritya sadhi bhutadi. Jara marana mokshaya mam asritya tanti ye te brahma tad vidhu krishnam adhyatam karma chakhilam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So intelligent person who are endeavoring for liberation from the old age and death take refuge in me devotion service. So they are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about the transcendental activities of the Lord. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Jara marana mokshaya mam asritya tanti ye te brahma tad vidhu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam.
So those in consciousness of Hare Krishna who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestations of the demigods and of all the methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality Godhead, even at the time of a death. So this particular example, what you are able to see is the Bhishma Pitamaha, you know. He has got a boon to liberate from his material body when he wished to. Okay, so he left a material body in the Magha Shuddha Ashtami Uttarayanam, and seeing the Lord Krishna in front of him, and he has liberated. So before his death, also till the last second of his breath, he was totally in Krishna consciousness. So they'll be having that boon to go back to the Godhead. Okay, so that is not possible with any of the ordinary individuals. So only people who have done the elevated service or pure devotees, it is possible for them. So devotees can know Krishna at death and can go back to him. How it is possible? Surety of person acting in Krishna consciousness. So he never deviated from the path of entirely understanding Krishna in transcendental association, understanding Lord as governing principle of material manifestation and even demigods. Gradually, they become convinced that the supreme personality of the Godhead, at the time of the death, he can never forget Krishna and promoted to the Goloka Vrindavana. So this is all because of all devotee association that they follow the principles and get liberated. So the only ultimate thing is that we need to simply hearing and glorifying the Lord, all objectives will be fulfilled. So we should take any of the Navada Bhakti and try to do the service towards the Lord because our ultimate aim is to reach the God. So these are the following verse we have discussed yesterday and today. Knowing Krishna is full by hearing about him, and knowing Lord Krishna is the source of both material as well as the spiritual energies, and three modes of material natures are controlled by Krishna, and therefore please surrender unto him. The impious lack the knowledge, that is the impersonals, they don't know the they don't have a knowledge about Krishna, therefore they fail to surrender to Krishna, but the pious develop a knowledge and they surrender to Krishna. And people who take shelter of demigods, again, they have to come back here to complete the cycle, similar to the impersonalist. So the bewilderment of the living entity and his freedom is through the knowledge of the Lord. So that is possible only by taking shelter of the Guru and all devotee association, reading the scriptures, doing the mantra meditations, and practicing any of the 9 types of the bhakti. Okay. So likewise, it is easy for any one of us to remember the Lord at the time of leaving this material body, which is the ultimate aim of our life. Go back to Godhead, that is Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. We have completed 7 chapters successfully. Anybody can just say some key points what we have discussed?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's about demigod worshippers Mataji, and
Today's section, we have discussed about the people who worship demigod. They go to these heavenly planets. Again, they come back here. Heavenly planets, they come back to earth again to maybe in a human form, maybe in another form to complete their cycle. Okay, yesterday we have discussed about the Mudas, different type of people who don't worship the Lord, and the people who are inquisitive to know about the Lord, the superior and inferior energy of the Lord. And today, like how people who wanted immediate result, where they take shelter of the demigods, but once people know that Krishna is the source of everything, they should not waste their time in going to a demigod, but ultimately they should take the sadhana to surrender to the Lord and do the bhakti and all. Okay, likewise, they'll be free from this cycle of birth and death and go back to the Godhead, that is Goloka. Okay, all important is the devotee association, never ever leave that. Hare Krishna. Hope I'm clear. Anything, any questions?
Mataji, in your previous slide, Hare Krishna Mataji. Hello.
Yes,
Hare Krishna
yes.
Mataji. In your previous slide, if you can go one slide back. Yeah. What is this? One slide back, please. Yeah. What is this Adibhut, Adidev, and Adhyam?
Where it is?
And the previous slide which you had shown. No, the second last before the summary. Yeah, here you can just fill up the boxes. In these last 3, yeah, this one.
Acha.
Adhibhut, Adidev, and Adhyagyan.
Yeah, the one the principles of material manifestations, because that is also energy of Lord. This is a bhuta is the this is the material this thing, the panchabhutas. Okay. Again, the Lord is the ultimate what is it, Adipati for this. Adi Daiva is he is again the supremacy for the demigods. Okay. And Adi Yajna is the governing principles of all methods of sacrifices what we perform towards the Lord. That includes your mantra meditation, that is the chanting also.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare-
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? I think successfully we have completed 7 chapters. Now we'll move on to the 8th chapter, which is very important next week. Okay. I end for today. There are no more questions. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you, co-host and participants, for your active participation. See you all next Monday at 7.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.